barbarian hamster caught in 4K. Well, I am. I promised emotes, didn't I? Oh, did I say promise? I'm not sure. Well, if I did. Connecting to chat. Welcome to chat room. You hear me okay? Are we live? Thank you, Rumi. We can hear, you can hear, I can hear, we can all hear. Sorry, Barbarian, you're quite right. Hey, ICP Yowie. I am sorry, I should have got those emotes done. I don't know what happened yesterday. I think I ate goulash and then I had to lie down. And then I woke up and I ate some more goulash. And then suddenly it was already like whatever time in the evening. And I thought I'd get to it today. Oh, please stop it now. Thanks for the forgiveness. Good evening, Sad and Sassy. Dmash69, goulash indeed. It was very good. I had some more of it today. You was strong fuck. Ziggler propaganda. Exactly. What's up, did we? Good evening, Bianca, 1403. Wind static, evening. What is that flashing goat? Goats with glasses. Cool. Ziggy Wiggy Stardust, nice. Royal Blue Heart. I guess some people are at the concert this evening in Wroclaw, so we're not going to have everyone join in. You're sad you missed the Great Lakes talk. First time chat, Metal Gear, Flux72, howdy. Imogen Mog popping in to say hi. Hello. Why are you sad about the Great Lakes talk? ICP Yowie, what do you have an interest in the Great Lakes? I don't know who people are into the geography. I love geography. The Great Lakes are quite fascinating. Hi, Ketchup Zombie. How we're all doing. We haven't had I didn't change the title again like an absolute muppet. Sorry, Sally. There's always time. Can I put my mic a bit higher? I certainly can. I don't want to shout tonight. How's that? Is that close enough? How's that? Better. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your observant ears and eyes. Hoping this goes smoothly. Hang on a second now. I realised I didn't change the name of the what we're doing. We're still on food and drink, aren't we? Michael, idiot. Bedtime story. No, that's right. Oh, but I didn't change that. What? Just chatting. There we go. Bedtime stories with Dadzig, Edgar Allan Poe. We're done. It's 10 degrees in Minnesota right now and people are sunbathing. Sounds about right. At least you got sun. Good evening, Draconi Manaveri. North Carolina, just pouring with rain. It's wet down there, isn't it? What is a kilometer? Vibes in chat right now. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. They're about 1,600 meters in a mile. 5 to 8 is a good ratio. 5 miles, 8 kilometers. Looking quite Renaissance, yes. I can't do the full barbarian, unfortunately. It doesn't work. So this is what I got. These Europeans and their weird conversions. Dare I say it, the old money is the weird one, which also has its history. But the kilometer, the mile, the millimeter, and everything else um, is actually doesn't makes more sense because it's all ratios of 10 and not 16th and 30 seconds and whatever. Anyway, a stone is 16 pounds. Or is it 16 ounces in a pound? 14, 14, 14 pounds in a stone. There we go. 10 kilometers equals 1 Swedish mil. It is easier, and liters is much easier. For those of you still using old money, the ounces and whatever else, 1 cubic centimeter of water weighs a gram at sea level. And so if you have 1 milliliter, you know that is 1 cubic centimeter of water, and therefore 1,000 milliliters, 1 liter is 1,000 cubic centimeters of water. And it's always pretty straightforward, isn't it? Because everyone has water. So, sorry, I do beg your pardon, Ketchup Zombie. I didn't mean to bring back school trauma. Hi, Bogwife. Yeah, but a modern foot of a person is not the same size as a foot of an old person, but 500 years ago, is it? That's the problem. The automod virginity from chat. The Celsius one makes sense as well in some ways. Nuclear winter will be the great equalizer. And again, centigrade or Celsius is makes sense as well, because when does water freeze? 0 degrees. When does water boil? 100 degrees. So that's kind of makes logical sense to my little brain anyway. And let's have a look here. I'm going to make chat a bit bigger. There we go. Do I remember the gallons picture? Fahrenheit is better than centigrade, but otherwise freezing units suck. Any particular reason why Fahrenheit is better in your particular opinion, Royal Blue Heart? Having grown up with centigrade, Celsius, Fahrenheit makes little to no sense. But anyway, that's what it is. Fahrenheit. Well, quite. It is what it is. Your BBC, BCB, BCB. 45 Fahrenheit, 451. Yeah. What's heavier, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers? Well, obviously a kilogram of steel. Yeah, I don't know who came up with Fahrenheit. Anyway, they said it's going to drop to -31, either in Fahrenheit or centigrade. That is effing cold. So yeah, it was the Romans. The Romans, blame them for everything. What have the Romans ever done for us? Do atoms feel? I like this. I like this idea. And I like the idea of how water feels as well. Hey, Nadine. I think there is something in that, isn't there? You know, Limmy, who did that sketch, played KCD2 recently. I heard that, Jolly Han, actually. Mr. Jim High told me. One question, why do Americans write the month, day, year? This is a good question. I do blame the Romans for everything bad in my life. Well, you shouldn't, because they also did a lot of good stuff, it's true. Hello, nothing but lurking. I hate it. I get yelled at work for doing day, month, year. Oh, do you? Why? Does it matter? It's less confusing. I find May the 30th, not 30th of May. Yeah, it might have been the way we used to write letters, I guess. Anyway. Well, you do get confused if you're used to one way, aren't you? That's the thing. Well, do we though? I don't always say May the 1st or May the 4th be with you. Um, yes. I entered the Congo on May the 14th, 1873, never to return again, for my mind was altered. Um, I think there's a reason for it, as the historical reason, and there's a reflection in that. And then, you know, Europe set its own rules, and the British, of course, like to be contrary bastards and did everything different and didn't want the Americans to be doing it the same way, so they made it more complicated. There is this. That's why the British dictionary is different, because they just want to be different. Um, it's not necessarily the case, ICP Yami. In some cases, it was standardized first in North America, and other places then bastardized. That's what I'm saying about the English language, especially the spelling. Anyway, Nadine, we may have found the problem, but do we have the solution? Mm. I might need to top that up. It's amazing how quickly the water evaporates when it's descending its 100-degree centigrade journey. I think other nations do quite a good bit of brain rot as well, don't they? Humidity plays a massive factor. Give me -5 in Prague over 2 degrees plus centigrade in the UK any day. But if you say day first, well, you will when you say the months directly afterwards. If I say the 14th, right? Because the other way around, if you see 0808, how confusing is that? If you say the day first, if you say the month first, then, you know. Anyway, whatever. Okay, 14th when? 14th of what? New Wuthering Heights adaptation is 100% rain, right? If that's is there a New Wuthering Heights adaptation? Get away. Um, oh, I'm sure. We like autocorrect. What's it done now? Heathcliff, it's me, Kathy. I'm home. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, Kate Bush fans? Margot Robbie made a new Wuthering Heights movie. What? How do I feel about that? I don't know. Chat, I'm just going to top up my cup of tea because it's not full, and I'd like to start with a full mug, if that's all right. I'm literally going to run to the kitchen and be back. I am a Kate Bush fan. I've been always. I think she's awesome. Just phenomenal in so many different ways. Um, oh, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch that. I hate reading it. I don't need to watch an adaptation of it. I'm walking to my kitchen where I was cooking yesterday. Gonna get some water. I don't know if you can still hear me. I'm walking to my kitchen. Back again at the computer. Took a little walk. Hot mic fart. I didn't fart. You'd know if I did. I'm a Geordie from Newcastle. Exactly. They don't have. There's no coat shops in Newcastle. That's the joke. Um, I was born for the cold. Yeah, I don't really particularly like the hot weather either. I think I heard you toot. No, the mic not doesn't work like that. I'm afraid. You would know. Uh, what's this? New Wuthering Heights. There's only one person attempting what? Hang on. A Yorkshire accent. What? Oh, I don't even. You think you heard me open a packet of smokes? That's exactly what it was, Draconi Manivani. Mystic Gift. ICP hears that every time someone disappears from camera. 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So what's that? Minus 30 and halve it. So what, 10? About 10 degrees? Would that be right? Oh, ICP, Yowie. It's in the 60s here. So minus 30 divided by half. So what, 15, 20 degrees centigrade? What's that? Perfect for walking. That's all right. Sunny and that's all right. Are you hearing the frequency of incognito toots? I don't do incognito toots. It's not my style. Yeah. I don't do any SBDs. Yeah, it's -3 in Prague right now. Actually, it's still cold. Winter's still got us in its grips. You know, that's why we've got Carnival this week. Oh, Tuesday, yeah. We've done pancakes in it. First time chat, Mingletron. Good morning from Arizona. Finally caught a stream. Yes, indeedy. We were just talking Fahrenheit and Celsius. Very interesting. We got into Wuthering Heights, the new series. Lots of people not into it. Warming up in Maine after the coldest winter in 40 years. Now it's normal. It's been you guys up there have had a rough one this year, but I guess that's how it goes. What am I looking at? What am I? Why do I have my phone in my hand? Um, uh, Pancakes Tuesday. Uh, Pancake Day, Shrove Tuesday, or as the Mardi Gras, right? Fat Tuesday. So different countries have different traditions. In England, pancakes are made and consumed. The story that I was told is that this was basically the last of the eggs and the fat and um, the milk or whatever flour before spring, because it's that time of year when if you've had stored eggs over winter, because hens don't lay when it's dark, right? So also the first day of the year of the horse. That's right, because it's Tuesday the new moon. No, the hens need to rest. I think that's fair. Um, it's feeling American in the chat because it's a good time for them. I think quite a few people in the European end of things are at the what do we call it? I don't have to apologise for the hens. Fire horse. Your only day off. Oh, dude, it's noon here. There we go. I'm hanging out with Monster Heart in person, but I'll pop in a bit later. Well, hello, Monster Heart too. Um, Streaming on Tuesday is what I'm gonna do. We'll make some pancakes. Streaming on Tuesday. Oh, Wuthering, wuthering, wuthering. Oh yeah, what was the thing with the curling? There was some controversy there, wasn't there? about some cheating going on or something. It's a very serious game, curling. Bunch of cheating maple leafs against who? Galette Tuesday, Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Tuesday. Canadian finger pokers, is that what they're called these days? Men's skating on Friday. Or what kind of skating? Speed skating. The Swedes got serial poked by the Canadians. Is what I'm. Is that right? The men's skating serial pokes were cheating, and the the Maple Leafs fingered them. Okay, so what happened was, let's reiterate again. A bunch of cheating Maple Leafs speed skating Fridays were finger poking Swedish cheaters. Uh, okay, auto mod. Hey Kiwi, first time chat. You came in. You came in at a good time. There was some cheating from the couple's French judge. I heard. Oh, the figure skate. They're figure skating. Yes, yes. I heard. I've read about that. But I haven't watched anything. I'm afraid. Is that have they done the downhill already? Because that's really the one that I'm interested. But I guess the downhill's already done, is it? Oh, I love a bit of downhill. Um, I do like. I mean, I do love figure skating though. I think it's quite fascinating. They poke the granite, not the handle, which is cheating. Oh, oh, all right. How would that make such a big difference? I guess maybe it does. I wouldn't know. They poked the granite. Hi there, the scribe David. Um, his finger brushed it. It makes no difference. But you're Canadian, Imogen. We need it from someone who's not Swedish or Canadian who saw it. Um, thanks for all the shout outs so far, Polar Pandy, Allison, and Bernadine at. Uh, Great Britain also brushed a rock today. Yeah, but that's just a pastime in England. We just like standing around brushing rocks with small brushes, uh, urging it on with a fingering. There's video evidence. Oh dear. Making an error in sport is not cheating. True enough. However, you can still be penalised for doing things accidentally. By all means, foul the rock, but calling it cheating is nasty. All right, Imogen. Let's not get too serious about it. All right, it is but a game, um, albeit a serious one. Um, and the Swedes will get over it eventually in about 80 years when they give back the statues that they still have from the 30 Years' War to the Czech Republic. Oh, burn! The century of Canada is coming. Huh? Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. We don't talk about 1648 anymore. No, no, you don't. The Czechs do. This is the Czech version of the Elgin marbles, yeah. Um, oh, the Norwegians and the cross country skiing. Yes, let's not. So Jolly Hand, what happened is at the 30 Years' War, the Swedish army took the left bank of Prague, including Prague Castle, and when they left, um, they took some statues with them, various pieces of artwork, and they're in a gallery. And the Czech Republic recently, I mean, the last 10 years recently, asked if they could have them back. And the response from the European Union was, well, no, we can't do that, because if we set the precedent that Sweden have to give back the artwork to the Czech Republic, then Britain and Germany and France might have to give back all the art they have from Iraq, Egypt, India, and wherever else. So the Czechs have to just suck it up, because other countries don't want to give their stuff back to places. Hmm. Uh, like Peter the Great did, right? Okay. Oh my God, where are we going with this now? Oh, oh, okay. That's interesting enough. All the stuff in the British Museum is stolen. Yes, well, it's borrowed, and they're looking after it. Queen Elizabeth was asked about that a few years ago before she passed away, and she was like, "No, no, no, no. We're just looking after it. We're the custodians." Borrowed, exactly. They're borrowing. They're the borrowers. Yeah, borrowing is such a polite way to frame it. Um, they're not giving it back, and that's the point. They are not giving it back. All right, dears. Let's start with a poem. I think we should get to Popo, my favorite Alan. Hmm. Do we know? Do we know? Do we know? By the way, the mystery of Marie Roget. Is that a good one? It's a little longer. I might just read the one tonight. Oh yeah, where are we with the bosom counter? Valeria's not here. Rumi, do you remember? Did we get to 25? 8? 6? Uh, Sad and sassy. 24. Okay. Okay, so we got. Does anybody know the mystery of Marie Roget? Is it any good? Hmm. There was also the murders in Rue Morgue, which was suggested, I think. Oh, there's loads of that, Rumi. There's that massive gemstone ruby from India that's in the Queen's crown and stuff. Um, all right, we'll start with a poem, and maybe you guys can look up what the mystery of Marie Roget is about, and whether we should read that one. Okay, poems. A Valentine. Should we read a Valentine, seeing it is Valentine's Day yesterday? Okay, Murder of Rue Morgue. 947. But I think we did read Valentine before. You keep hearing a cricket because there are crickets here, because the gecko has not yet eaten the crickets, and they're noisy little bleeders. Think they can get away with anything. I have a gecko, yes. There is, yes, there is a gecko. Um, I have too many questions. No, gecko. She's Garfina is she's hiding still. Um, that's she doesn't come out till a bit later. Well, she should be out now, but It's a little bit too light, probably, because it's a leopard gecko, so they actually activate in Garfina. The gecko is called Garfina. Cricket on the mantle go yum 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 yum. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to Garfina sometime. We have read a Valentine, but as it was Valentine's Day yesterday, we'll read it and then we'll find another one. Okay. Here we go. For her this rhyme is penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Lerda, shall find her own sweet name, that nestling lies upon the page, enwrapped from every reader. Search narrowly the lines, they hold a treasure, divine, a talisman, an amulet, that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure, the words, the syllables, do not forget the trivialest point, or you may lose your labour. And yet there is in this no Gordian knot, which one might not undo without a sabre, if one could merely comprehend the plot, and written upon the leaf where now we are peering, eyes scintillating soul, there lie perdus, three eloquent words, oft uttered in the hearing of poets, by poets, as the name is a poet's too. Its letters, although naturally lying, like the knights Pinto, Mendes, Ferdinando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying. You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. And the name, of course, lies Gordian Knot. Is that actually an instrumental prog band? Oh, dearie me. Oh, God. Sorry, the fish are haranguing me. I have fish as well. Fish chips. The fish don't have names. Although I should. There's only 3 of them. Probably give them names. Anyway. Can chat name the fish? Maybe. Maybe so. Let me ponder that. Let me ponder if the chat some little flakes as well. For the ones that prefer flakes. La-di-da, da-da-da-da. Now I got fish water all on my hand. That maybe wasn't the cleverest idea, was it? What fish? Feeding fish with pepper. Could be a sub goal. Okay, you need to explain more to me about that. That's how you end up with Fishy McFishface. What's wrong? Like Boaty McBoatface? Uh, Sansasu. Thank you. Hype level. We got a hype train on because of the fish. I once had an albino catfish named Fred, so I vote Fishy Fred. Name one cheese biscuit for me. All right, You're just gonna have to get some more off-camera mic action here as I go and wash my hands because I don't want to handle a book with fish pond. Right, there's the. Now we just wash it like that. There we go. Come back over here. That was the door before anyone says anything. It's got a squeaky hinge. Yes, Grandpa. Choo choo for the zoo fund. Hold a Penny and Allison. We got Bernadine Hat. We got the whole thing is going on. the little ones from the pet store, but they get pretty big catfish. And a plink for the hot mic fart. Oh dear. Oh my god, thank you very much. Thank you, Sad and Sassy. Awesome. Oh, axolotl are pretty cute. Axolotl are cute. All right, we'll do one more poem, and then we'll get to the story. The Conqueror Worm. Do we feel that's fitting? Oh, I'd love a lava lamp. Choo choo. Hype train level 3. He's gonna come for me. Cannibal axolotl. Or 10 bubble tubes. Oh my, I'm down with all of this, man. Go into the 1970s like pad. Hey guys, yeah, come on in and sit in my chill pit. You ever see those? Those chill pits people had in their houses where you just go down into it? What a fucking great idea is that? Oh, otters. Alright, and we're going to read The Conqueror Worm on page 960. Oh, here we go. That's more like it. With shag carpet. Yeah. Conversation pit. Well, kind of, but they were like round. If this is the floor level, you go down into them and you could sit and there'd be like the TV or whatever, you know, or an open fire at one end. It's a real 70s thing. Here we go. The Conqueror Worm. Lo, 'tis a gala night within the lonesome latter years, an angel throng bewinged betight in veils and drowned in tears, sit in a theatre to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes in the form of God on high mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly mere puppets they who come and go at the bidding of vast formless things that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping out from their condor wings invisible for woe. That motley drama, oh be sure it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased for evermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth in to the self-same spot, and much of madness and more of sin and horror the soul of the plot. But see, amid the mimic rout, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes, with mortal pangs the mime becomes its food, and the angels sob at vermin fangs in human gore imbued. Out, out are the lights, out all, and over each quivering form the curtain a funeral pall comes down with the rush of a storm, and the angels all pallid and wan, uprising and veiling affirm that the play is the tragedy man, and its hero the conqueror worm. Mm. Why is everything illegal in Maine then? Choo choo, choo choo. We got my hype train going tonight. We got the hype train going tonight. They fear Stephen King. Yeah, maybe so. All right. So we're going to do the murder of Rue Morgue, and we're going to get amongst it because it is Sunday night. I would like to get some sleep. Uh, 28 pages. Uh, well, yeah, that's a bit long. I don't think I've got time for that. I don't think I have time. Oh well, there is that, I guess. Um, uh, and the three fishes. All right, I think we're gonna have to find something else, to be honest. I don't feel I have enough time for that. Does anybody have any requests other than Rue Morgue? Edgar Allan Poe. um, that's a bit tall. Yeah, I mean, I'm blind in this as well, to be honest. ICP Yowie, that's why. Thank you, Procky on 9. Loves it. Loves it, I does. We read all those. We read all those. Oh wow, that's 30 pages. Why don't we did the Purloined Letter. We did all those. The Island of Fae. We did the Oval Portrait as well, I believe, didn't we? Must be smooth brained. The Oval or Portrait. We've done that. That's the one where he's in the room and he's sleeping and there's all the pictures, right? Okay. This is why I started marking them last week, chat, because I can't remember. Um Oh, here we go. Never bet the devil your head. 8 pages long. Let's do that. Page 482. Actually, where did the bookmark land last week? Metzengerstein. 482. Alison, just back in time. You and Ryumi are the ones who know this best. The Mystery of Marie Roget. Is it any good? Annabelle Lee. Yes, yes, we're discussing. Annabelle Lee. I don't see this. I don't see Annabelle Lee. Where is Annabelle Lee? What the blazes? I do not find it. I love all the Dupin stories. I don't see Annabelle Lee, guys. So Marie Roget is another one of the Dupin mysteries, yeah? Read half of Murder. No, I'd like to kind of close circles because not everybody can sit in on a chat. So, well, I do not see Annabelle. Oh, Annabelle Lee's a poem. Okay. We're gonna do. I've decided Never bet the devil your head. And then we'll have another look at I see. Okay, so next time we have a longer stream, we will do Rue Mort and Marie Roger. All right? We'll first one and then the other. We'll see how much time we got. Um, ooh. Ooh, wow, okay. So, never bet the devil your head, a tale with a moral. Con tal que las costumbres de un autor, says Don Thomas de las Torres in the preface to his amatory poems, sean puras y castas, importa muy poco que un sean igualmente severas sus obras. Meaning, in plain English, that provided the morals of an author are pure, personally it signifies nothing what are the morals of his books. We presume that Don Thomas is now in purgatory for the assertion. It would be a clever thing, too, in the way of poetical justice, to keep him there until his amatory poems get out of print or are laid definitively upon the shelf through lack of readers. Every fiction should have a moral, and what is more to the purpose, the critics have discovered that every fiction has. Philip Melanchthon, some time ago, wrote a commentary upon the Batrancomymakia, and proved that the poet's object was to excite a distaste for sedition. Pierre Lassen, going a step further, shows that the intention was to recommend to young men temperance in eating and drinking. Just so, too, Jacobus Hugo has sat beside himself that by Eunice Homer meant to insinuate John Calvin, by Antinous Martin Luther, by the Lottafagi Protestants in general, and by the Harpies the Dutch. Our more modern scholiasts are equally acute. These fellows demonstrate a hidden meaning in the antediluvians, a parable in the Powhatan, new views in the Cock Robin, and transcendentalism in Hop o' My Thumb. In short, it has been shown that no man can sit down to write without a very profound design. Thus, to authors in general, much trouble is spared. A novelist, for example, need have no care for his moral. It is there, that is to say, it is somewhere, and the moral and the critics can take care of themselves. When the proper time arrives, all that the gentleman intended, and all what he did not intend, will be brought to light in the dial or the down easter, together with all that he ought to have intended, and the rest that he clearly meant to intend, so that all will come very straight in the end. There is just no ground, therefore, for the charge brought against me by certain ignoramuses that I have never written a moral tale, or, in more precise words, a tale with a moral. They are not the critics predestined to bring me out and develop my morals. That is the secret. By and by, the North American quarterly humdrum will make them ashamed of their stupidity. In the meantime, by way of staying execution, by the way of you lost me for a minute there because I pulled at the cable, the LAN cable, my insecure LAN cable. Yeah, Garfina jumped out. Where did you lose me? It's true. We also need a new clip so it doesn't come out willy-nilly. Did you hear me say North American Quarterly Humdrum? Ignoramuses. Okay. I do believe I have dribbled tea on my cardigan. Ignoramuses. There is no just ground, therefore, for the charge brought against me by my certain ignoramuses that I have never written a moral tale, or in more precise words, a tale with a moral. They are not the critics predestined to bring me out and develop my morals. That is the secret. By and by, the North American Quarterly humdrum will make them ashamed of their stupidity. In the meantime, by way of staying execution, by way of mitigating the accusations against me, I offer the sad history appended, a history about whose obvious moral there can be no question whatever, since he who runs may read it in the large capitals which form the title of the tale. I should have credit for this arrangement, a far wiser one than that of La Fontaine and others, who reserve the impression to be conveyed until the last moment, and thus sneak it in at the fag end of their fables. Defuncti injuria ne affercentur was a law of the 12 Tables, and de mortuis nil nisi bonum is an excellent injunction, even if the dead in question be nothing but dead small beer. It is not my design, therefore, to vituperate my deceased friend Toby Dammit. He was a sad dog, it is true, and a dog's death it was that he died. But he himself was not to blame for his vices. They grew out of a personal defect in his mother. She did her best in the way of flogging him while an infant, for duties to her well-regulated mind were always pleasures, and babies, like tough steaks or the modern Greek olive tree, are invariably the better for beating. But poor woman, she had the misfortune to be left-handed, and the child flogged left-handedly had better left unflogged. The world revolves from right to left. It will not do to whip a baby from left to right. If each blow in the proper direction drives an evil propensity out, it allows that every thump in the opposite one knocks it in quota of wickedness in. I was often present at Toby's chastisements. Even by the way in which he kicked, I could perceive that he was getting worse and worse every day. At last I saw, through the tears in my eyes, that there was no hope of the villain at all. And one day, when he'd been cuffed until he grew so black in the face, had no effect and produced beyond that of making him wriggle himself into a fit. I could stand it no longer, but went down upon my knees forthwith, and, uplifting my voice, made prophecy of his ruin. The fact is that his precocity in vice was awful. At 5 months of age he used to get into such passions that he was unable to articulate. Are we okay with this one? This could be a little on the racy side. At 6 months I caught him gnawing a pack of cards. At 7 months he was in the constant habit of catching and kissing the female babies. At 8 months he peremptorily refused to put his signature to the temperance pledge. Thus he went on, increasing in iniquity month after month, until at the close of the first year he not only insisted upon wearing moustaches, but he had contracted a propensity for cursing and swearing, and for backing his assertions by bets. Through this latter most ungentlemanly practice, the ruin which I had predicted to Toby Dammit overtook him at last. The fashion had grown with his growth and strengthened with his strength, so that when he came to be a man, he could scarcely utter a sentence without interlarding it with a proposition to gamble. Not that he actually laid wagers, no. I will do my friend the justice to say that he would as soon have laid eggs. With him the thing was a mere formula, nothing more. His expressions on his head had no meaning attached to them whatever. They were simple, if not altogether innocent expletives, imaginative phrases wherewith to round off a sentence. When he said, "I'll bet you so and so," nobody ever thought of taking him up, but still I could not help thinking it my duty to put him down. The habit was an immoral one, and so I told him. It was a vulgar one. This I begged him to believe. It was discountenanced by society. Here I said nothing but the truth. It was forbidden by Act of Congress. Here I had not the slightest intention of telling a lie. I remonstrated, but to no purpose. I demonstrated in vain. I entreated, he smiled. I implored, he laughed. I preached, he sneered. I threatened, he swore. I kicked him, he called for the police. I pulled his nose, he blew it, and offered to bet the devil his head that I would not venture to try that experiment again. Poverty was another vice which the peculiar physical deficiency of Dammit's mother had entailed upon her son. He was detestably poor, and this was the reason, no doubt, that his expletive expressions about betting seldom took a pecuniary turn. I will not be bound to say that I ever heard him make much use of such a figure of speech as, "I'll bet you $1." It was usually, "I'll bet you what you please," or "I'll bet you what you dare," or "I'll bet you a trifle," or else more significantly still, "I'll bet the devil my head." This latter form seemed to please him best, perhaps because it involved the least risk, for Dammit had become excessively parsimonious. Had anyone taken him up, his head was small, and thus his loss would have been small too. But these are my own reflections. I am by no means sure that I'm right in attributing them to him. At all events, the phrase in question grew daily in favour, notwithstanding the gross impropriety of a man betting his brains like banknotes. But this was a point which my friend's perversity of disposition would not permit him to comprehend. In the end, he abandoned all other forms of wager, and gave himself up to, "I'll bet the devil my head," with a pertinacity and exclusiveness of devotion that displeased not less than it surprised me. I am always displeased by circumstances for which I cannot account. Mysteries force a man to think, and so injure his health. The truth is, there was something in the air with which Mr. Dammit was wont to give utterance to his offensive expression, something in his manner of enunciation which at first interested and afterward made me very uneasy, something which, for want of a more definite term at present, I must be permitted to call queer, but which Mr. Coleridge would have called mystical, Mr. Kant pantheistical, Mr. Carlyle twistical, and Mr. Emerson hyperquisitistastical. I began not to like it at all. Mr. Dammit's soul was in a perilous state. I resolved to bring all my eloquence into play to save it. I vowed to serve him as St. Patrick in the Irish Chronicle is said to have served the land, or served the toad, that is to say, awaken him to the sense of his situation. I addressed myself to the task forthwith. Once more, I betook myself to remonstrance. I collected my energies for final attempt at expostulation. When I had made an end of my lecture, Mr. Dammit indulged himself in some very equivocal behaviour. For some moments he remained silent, merely looking me inquisitively in the face, but presently he threw his head to one side and elevated his eyebrows to a great extent. Then he spread out the palms of his hands and shrugged up his shoulders. Then he winked with the right eye. Then he repeated the operation with the left. Then he shut them both up very tight. Then he opened them both so very wide that I became seriously alarmed for the consequences. Then, applying his thumb to his nose, he thought proper to make an indescribable movement with the rest of his fingers. Finally, setting his arms akimbo, he condescended to reply. I can call to mind only the heads of his discourse. He would be obliged to me if I would hold my tongue. He wished none of my advice. He despised all my insinuations. He was old enough to take care of himself. Did I still think him a baby? Damn it! Did I mean to say anything against his character? Did I intend to insult him? Was I a fool? Was my maternal parent aware, in a word, of my absence from the domiciliary residence? He would put this latter question to me as a man of veracity, and he would bind himself to abide my reply. Once more he would demand explicitly if my mother knew that I was out. My confusion, he said, betrayed me, and he would be willing to bet the devil his head that she did not. Mr. Dammit did not pause for my rejoinder. Turning upon his heel, he left my presence with undignified precipitation. It was well for him that he did so. My feelings had been wounded, even my anger had been aroused. For once, I would have taken him up upon his insulting wager. I would have won for the arch-enemy Mr. Dammit's little head. The fact is, my mamma was very well aware of my merely temporary absence from home. But Koda Shefa Midached, heaven gives relief, as the Mussulmans say when you tread upon their toes. It was in pursuance of my duty that I had been insulted, and I bore the insult like a man. It now seemed to me, however, that I had done all that could be required of me in the case of this miserable individual, and I resolved to trouble him no longer with my counsel, but to leave him with his conscience and himself. And although I forbore to intrude with my advice, I could not bring myself to give up his society altogether. I even went so far as to humour some of his less prehensible propensities, and there were times when I found myself lauding his wicked jokes, as epicures do mustard, with tears in my eyes, so profoundly did it grieve me to hear his evil talk. One fine day, having strolled out together, arm in arm, our route led us in the direction of the river. There was a bridge, and we resolved to cross it. It was roofed over by way of protection from the weather, and the archway, having but few windows, was thus very uncomfortably dark. As we entered the passage, the contrast between the external glare and the internal gloom struck heavily upon my spirits. Not so upon those of the unhappy Dammit, who offered to bet the devil his head that I was hipped. He seemed to be in an unusual good humour. He was excessively lively, so much so that I entertained I know not what of uneasy suspicion. It is not possible, it is not impossible, that he was affected with the transcendentals. I am not well enough versed, however, in the diagnosis of this disease to speak with decision upon the point, and unhappily there were none of my friends of the dial present. I suggest the idea, nevertheless, because of a certain species of austere merry Andrewism which seemed to beset my poor friend and caused him to make quite a tomfool of himself. Nothing would serve him but wriggling and skipping about under and over everything that came in his way, now shouting out, now lisping out all the manner of odd little big words, yet preserving the gravest face in the world all the time. I really could not make up my mind whether to kick or to pity him. At length, having passed nearly across the bridge, we approached the termination of the doorway, when our progress was impeded by a turnstile of some height. Through this I made my way quietly, pushing it around as usual. But this turn would not serve the turn of Mr. Dammit. He insisted upon leaping the stile, and said he could cut a pigeon wing over it in the air. Now this, conscientiously speaking, I did not think he could. The best pigeon winger over all kinds of stiles was my friend Mr. Carlyle, and as I knew he could not do it, I would not believe it could be done by Toby Dammit. I therefore told him, in no so many words, that he was a braggadocio, and could not do what he said. For this I had reason to be sorry afterward, for he straightway offered to bet the devil his head that he could. I was about to reply, notwithstanding my previous resolutions, with some remonstrance against his impiety, when I heard close at my elbow a slight cough, which sounded very much like the ejaculation "ahem." I started, and looked about me in surprise. My glance at length fell into a nook of the framework of the bridge, and upon the figure of a little lame old gentleman of venerable aspect. Nothing could be more reverend than his whole appearance, for he not only had on a full suit of black, but his shirt was perfectly clean, and his collar turned down very neatly over a white cravat, while his hair was parted in the front like a girl's. His hands were clasped pensively together over his stomach, and his two eyes were carefully rolled up into the top of his head. Upon observing him more closely, I perceived that he wore a black silk apron over his small clothes, and this was a thing which I thought very odd. Before I had time to make any remark, however, upon so singular a circumstance, he interrupted me with a second ahem. To this observation I was not immediately prepared to reply. The fact is, remarks of this laconic nature are nearly unanswerable. I have known a quarterly review nonplussed by the word fudge. I am not ashamed to say, therefore, that I turned to Mr. Dammit for assistance. "Dammit," said I, "what are you about? Don't you hear? The gentleman says, ahem." I looked sternly at my friend while I thus addressed him, for, to say the truth, I felt particularly puzzled, and when a man is particularly puzzled, he must knit his brows and look savage, or else he is pretty sure to look like a fool. "Damn it," I observed, although this sounded very much like an oath than which nothing was further from my thoughts. "Damn it," I suggested, "the gentleman says ahem." I did not attempt to defend my remark on the score of profundity. I did not think it profound myself, but I have noticed that the effect of our speeches is not always proportionate with their importance in our own eyes. And if I had shot Mr. D through and through with a Baxham's bomb, or knocked him on the head with the poets of poetry of America, he could hardly have been more discomfited than when I addressed him with these simple words: "Damn it, what are you about? Don't you hear? The gentleman says ahem." "You don't say so," gasped he at length, before turning more colours than the pirate runs up, one after the other, when chased by a man of war. "Are you quite sure he said that? Well, at all events, I'm in for it now, and may as well put a bold face upon the matter. Here goes, then. Ahem." At this the little old gentleman seemed pleased, God only knows why. He left his station at the nook of a bridge, limped forward with a gracious air, took Dammit by the hand, and shook it cordially, looking all the while straight up in his face with an air of the most unadulterated benignity which it is possible for the mind of a man to imagine. "I'm quite sure you will win it, Dammit," said he, with the frankest of all smiles. "But we're obliged to have a trial, you know, for the sake of mere form." "Ahem," replied my friend, taking off his coat, with a deep sigh, tying a pocket handkerchief around his waist, and producing an unaccountable alteration in his countenance by twisting up his eyes and bringing down the corner of his mouth. "Ahem, and ahem," he said again after a pause, and not another word more than ahem did I ever know of him to say after that. "Aha," thought I, without expressing myself aloud, "this is quite a remarkable silence on the part of Toby Dammit, and is no doubt a consequence of his verbosity upon a previous occasion. One extreme induces another. I wonder if he has forgotten the many unanswerable questions which he propounded to me so fluently on the day when I gave him my last lecture. At all events, he is cured of the transcendentals." "Ahem," here replied Toby, just as if he had been reading my thoughts, and looking like a very old sheep in a reverie. The old gentleman now took him by the arm, and led him more into the shade of the bridge, a few paces back from the turnstile. "My good fellow," said he, "I make it a point of conscience to allow you this much run. Wait here till I take my place by the stile, so that I may see whether you go over it handsomely and transcendentally, and don't omit any flourishes of the pigeon wing. A mere form, you know. I will say 1, 2, 3, and away. Mind you start at the word away." Here he took his position by the stile, paused a moment as if in profound reflection, then looked up, and I thought smiled very slightly, then tightened the strings of his apron, and then took a long look at Dammit, and finally gave the word as agreed upon: 1, 2, 3, and away. Punctually at the word away, my poor friend set off in a strong gallop. The stile was not very high, like Mr. Lord's, nor yet very low, like that of Mr. Lord's reviewers, but upon the whole I made sure that he would clear it. And then what if he did not? That was the question. What if he did not? "What right," said I, "had the old gentleman to make any other gentleman jump? The little old dot and carry one. Who is he? If you ask me to jump, I won't do it, and that's flat, and I don't care who the devil he is." The bridge, as I say, was arched and covered in a very ridiculous manner, and there was a most uncomfortable echo about it at all times, an echo which I never before so particularly observed as when I uttered the last 4 words of my remark. But what I said, or what I thought, or what I heard, occupied only an instant. In less than 5 seconds from his starting, my poor Toby had taken the leap. I saw him run nimbly and spring grandly from the floor of the bridge, cutting the most awful flourishes with his legs as he went up. I saw him high in the air, pigeon winging it to admiration just over the top of the stile, and of course I thought it an unusually singular thing that he did not continue to go over. But the whole leap was the affair of a moment, and before I had chance to make any profound reflections, down came Mr. Dammit on the flat of his back, on the same side of the stile from which he had started. At the same instant I saw the old gentleman limping off at the top of his speed, having caught and wrapped up his apron something that fell heavily into it from the darkness of the arch just over the turnstile. After all this I was much astonished, but I had no leisure to think, for Mr. Dammit lay particularly still, and I concluded that his feelings had been hurt and that he stood in need of my assistance. I hurried up to him and found that he had received what might be termed a serious injury. The truth is, he'd been deprived of his head, which after a close search I could not find anywhere. So I determined to take him home and send him for the homeopathists. In the meantime, a thought struck me, and I threw open an adjacent window of the bridge, when the sad truth flashed upon me at once. About 5 feet just above the top of the turnstile, and crossing the arch of the footpath so as to constitute a brace, there extended a flat iron bar, lying with its breadth horizontally and forming one of a series that served to strengthen the structure through its extent. With the edge of this brace it appeared evident that the neck of my unfortunate friend had come precisely in contact. He did not long survive his terrible loss. The homeopathists did not give him little enough physic, and what little they did give him he hesitated to take. So in the end he grew worse, and at length died, a lesson to all rioters' livers. I bedewed his grave with my tears, worked a bar sinister on his family escutcheon, and for the general expense of his funeral sent in my moderate bill to the transcendentalists. The scoundrels refused to pay, so I had Mr. Dammit dug up at once, and sold him for dog's meat. We got raiders from John, Mr. Beaumont. Bonsoir, Mr. Beaumont. So no head. He got no head. No. First time chat, Fuzzy Gummy Bunny. Hello. T-Virus Firefly. Twitch should make a reading category. Maybe so, yeah. Or the cherry ending. Cheery ending, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. Hello. Talk at Live Salad. Thank you so much. Cheery, not cherry. Yeah, I got that. What a cheery ending. But it was a weird ending. He sold him for dog meat. I'm not sure there's some metaphor with that, or he's having some beef with some people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and the old man probably was. That's the thing. So, I don't know. That sounds to me like Poe. That Poe had some beef with something, or someone. How are we doing for time? I think we got time for one more short one tonight, and a poem, and then we will call it a night. Dum, 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 dum. How about the Duke de l'Omelette? Hello, more raiders. Mingletron. He had a lot of beef with a lot of things. It seems the case. He's from Boston. The Grace. Just a short one before bed. You got it. Duke, yes. The Duke de l'Omelette. It sounds like it could be a weird one as well. But why not? Let me see. Oh, it's very short. Let's do it. Here we go. This could be a funny little one. Short slogan. No, 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 not quite short slogan. The Duc de l'Omelette, and stepped at once into a cooler clime. Cowper. Keats fell by criticism. Who was it died of the Andromache in Noble Souls? De l'Omelette perished of an ortolan. L'histoire en est brève. Assist me, spirit of Apicius. A golden cage bore the little winged wanderer, enamoured, melting, indolent, to the Chaussee d'Antin from its home in far Peru. From its queenly possessor, La Bellissima, to the Duc de l'Omelette, 6 peers of the empire conveyed the happy bird. That night the Duke was to sup alone. In the privacy of his bureau, he reclined languidly on the ottoman for which he sacrificed his loyalty in outbidding his king, the notorious Ottoman of Cadet. He buried his face in the pillow. The clock strikes. Unable to restrain his feelings, his grace swallows an olive. At this moment the door gently opens to the sound of soft music, and lo! The most delicate of birds is before the most enamoured of men. But what inexpressible dismay now overshadows the countenance of the Duke. Aurore! Chien! Baptiste! Le oiseau! Oh bon Dieu! Cet oiseau modeste qui te se déshabillé de la plume et qui te servit sans papier! It is superfluous to say more. The Duke expired in a paroxysm of disgust. "Ha, ha, ha, ha," said his Grace on the 3rd day after his decease. "Ha, ha, ha," replied the devil faintly, drawing himself up with an air of hauteur. "Why, surely you are not serious," retorted de L'Omelette. "I have sinned, c'est vrai, but my good sir, consider. You have no actual intention of putting such barbarous threats into execution?" "No what?" said his Majesty. "Come, sir, strip." "Strip, indeed, very pretty in faith. No, sir, I will not strip. Who are you, pray, that I, Duc de l'Omelette, Prince de Foie Gras, just come of age, author of the Marzukiad, and the member of the Academy, should divest myself at your bidding of the sweetest pantaloons ever made by Bourdon, the daintiest robe de chambre ever put together by Rombert, to say nothing of the taking my hair out of paper, not to mention the trouble I should have in drawing off my gloves. Who am I? True. I am Beelzebub, Prince of the Fly. I took thee just now from a rosewood coffin inlaid with ivory. Thou wast curiously scented and labelled as per invoice. Belial sent thee, my inspector of cemeteries. The pantaloons which thou sayest were made by Bourdon are an excellent pair of linen drawers, and thy robe de chambre is a shroud of no scanty dimensions. Sir, replied the Duke, I am not to be insulted with impunity. Sir, I shall not take the earliest opportunity of avenging this insult. Sir, you shall hear from me. In the meantime, au revoir. And the Duke was bowing himself out of the satanic presence when he was interrupted and brought back by a gentleman in waiting. Hereupon his Grace rubbed his eyes, yawned, shrugged his shoulders, reflected. Having become satisfied of his identity, he took a bird's-eye view of his whereabouts. The apartment was superb. Even de l'Omelette pronounced it bien comme il faut. It was not its length nor its breadth, but its height. That was appalling. There was no ceiling, certainly none but a dense whirling mass of fiery-coloured clouds. His Grace's brain reeled as he glanced upward. From above hung a chain of an unknown blood-red metal, its upper end lost, like the city of Boston, parmi les nuées. From its nether extremity swung a large cresset. The Duke knew it to be a ruby, but from there it poured a light so intense, so still, so terrible. Persia never worshipped such. Geber never imagined such. Mussulman never dreamed of such. When, drugged with opium, he has tottered to a bed of poppies, his back to the flowers and his face to the god Apollo. The Duke muttered a slight oath, decidedly approbatory. The corners of the room were rounded into niches. 3 of these were filled with statues of gigantic proportions. Their beauty was Grecian, their deformity Egyptian, their tout ensemble French. In the fourth niche, the statue was veiled. It was not colossal. But then there was a taper ankle, a sandaled foot. De L'Omelette pressed his hand upon his heart, closed his eyes, raised them, caught his satanic majesty in a blush. But the paintings, Kubris, Astert, Astereth, 1,000 and the same, and Raphael has beheld them. Yes, Raphael has been here. But did he not paint thee? Was he not consequently damned? The paintings, O luxury, O love, who, gazing on those forbidden beauties, shall have eyes for the dainty devices of all the golden frames that besprinkled like stars the hyacinths in the periphery falls? But the Duke's heart is fainting with him. He is not, however, as you suppose, dizzy with magnificence, nor drunk with the ecstatic breath of those innumerable senses. C'est vrai que de toutes ces choses il en pense beaucoup, mais the Duc de L'Omelette is terror-stricken. For through the lurid vista which a single uncurtained window is affording, lo, gleams the most ghastly of all fires. Le pauvre Duc! He could not help imagining that the glorious, the voluptuous, the never-dying melodies which pervaded that hall as they passed, filtered, and transmuted through the alchemy of the enchanted window panes, were the wailings and the howlings of the hopeless and the damned. And there, too, there upon the ottoman, who could he be? He, the petit maître? No, the deity, who sat as if carved in marble, et qui sourit with his pale countenance, si amèrement. Mais il faut agir. That is to say, a Frenchman never faints outright. Besides, his Grace hated a scene. De L'Omelette is himself again. There were some foils upon the table, some points also. The Duke had studied under B. Il avait tué ses 6 hommes. Now then, il pose ce chapeau. He measured 2 points, and with a grace inimitable, offers his Majesty the choice. Horreur! His Majesty does not fence. Mais il jouait, how happy a thought! But his Grace had always an excellent memory. He had dipped in the Diable of the Abbé Gautier. Therein it is said que le diable n'ose pas refuser un jeu de cartes. But the chances, true, desperate, but scarcely more desperate than the Duke. Besides, was he not in the secret? Had he not skimmed over Père Le Brun? Was he not a member of the Club 21? Si j'y perds, said he, je serai 2 fois perdu. I shall be doubly damned, voilà tout. Here his Grace shrugged his shoulders. Si j'y gagnais, je reviendrai mais autant que les cartes soient préparées. His Grace was all care, all attention. His Majesty all confidence. A spectator would have thought of Francis and Charles. His Grace thought of his game. The Majesty did not. He shuffled. The Duke cut. The cards are dealt. The trump is turned. It is he. It is the King. No. It was the Queen. His Majesty cursed her masculine habilance. De L'Omelette placed his hand upon his heart. They play. The Duke counts. The hand is out. His Majesty counts heavily, smiles, and is taking wine. The Duke slips a card. C'est à vous offert, said the Majesty, cutting. His Grace bowed, dealt, and arose from the table. Présentons les rois. His Majesty looked chagrined. Had Alexander not been Alexander, he would have been Diogenes, and the Duke assured his antagonist in taking leave, que s'il ne dette de l'omelette, il n'aurait point d'objecteur de l'herbe. Clap, 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 clap. Bon neuf. All right. So we did read a Valentine, yeah. We actually started with that, Alison. So sorry you missed that. Although I realised we've read it before. What about a dream within a dream? No way. I was literally just that's amazing. Um, thank you, some muses. Tisant. Some muse tisant. Am I getting that right? Some muses tisant. I'm in your walls. Don't dream bed. Quite. Summers. Cool. A dream within a dream, and then we'll come back to chat for a little bit, guys, and then we'll call it a night. What are we doing? Yes. No, you're gonna let's put the bookmark there because we might start with the next one after that. No bosoms today. I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought Poe was all about the bosoms. Not even any breasts, neither. What's all that? What's all that, eh? Uh, a dream within a dream. All right. How many pages is that book? 1,126. 1,026. 1,026. And that is from, and that's all his writing. That's not including the foreword, the introduction. Beg your pardon. I tell a lie. Page 3, because this is from an original copy. So this is just a reprint. So in truth, 1,023 pages. 1,023. With great bosoms comes great responsibility. Okay. A dream within a dream. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a turf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they would creep through my fingers to the deep while I weep. While I weep, O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Ahem, ahem. That was quick. Yeah, some of the poems are quick, but we've had 2 poems, 2 stories. I'm a little tighter on time tonight, but I think the next reading session we can make a bit longer. So yeah, I know, 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 ICP Yahweh, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Please do be more annoying. Not annoying, it's just annoying. Um, you just have to pester me. I've said that to people as well who want tours in program. I just keep pestering me. I'm just, you know, 100 gem stars. No, I have those emails. I have those emails, absolutely. Just send me some more, innit? You, I want to pester you with the retired joke, so I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Thank you, Lord Swordplay. Lord's Wordplay. Oh, I see. I don't. Right. I'm not sure. I will check. Hello, Pookies. Bublina, are you back from Wroclaw? Or no? Hang on. No, you must be in Wroclaw. The thing is tonight. A dog died in the poem today. Hang on. Did a dog die in the poem? What? What the? It didn't. Hope Gecko is making pancakes Tuesday. Dog meat. Poe made a dude into dog meat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because nobody would pay for his burial. Because we read the Valentine. We read the Valentine, and we read A Dream Within a Dream. When life gives you lemons, make dog meat. Absolutely. Gecko's alright. You want to see the gecko? You're not responding quick enough. Oh, there's a lot of. Hang on, let me see what's going on. I don't know if you can see it. He's getting reflection back. There. She's got a fat little tail. He does have snakes, though. All right, gang. You can interpret that how you want, Alison. No, I'm laughing at your responses. First time chat. The Four-Eyed Raven. Cute. Books and nice. You can do what you can believe what you like. Anyway, I'm gonna chip out, guys. So thank you, and excuse me. See you Tuesday. I have a couple of. I'm going to be having to stream later. I thought I have some time in the afternoon, but I don't. So the pancake stream will start around. Well, I need to check with my mods first to see if anybody's available. Because I've just thrown that out there. And no, but it'll be like 6 o'clock or something. Or maybe even maybe we might even start later, so then people can actually cook for dinner time if they're in Europe, UK. And if you're not, then whatever. But I know some Alison's bespoke pancake stream exactly. Finally, my time has come. Vinhu Gear, first time chat. Oh, great! Who gifted? I need to. Who's that? I need to. Paula Pani, Alison, the sad and sassy. It's in my list here, but I don't. Oh, I need to. Oh God. Ah, yes. Cool. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we did a little hype train today. That was fun. Mm. Oh man. All right, man. All right, Grazer. Shoot, shoot. I'm gonna chip out. I'm gonna get the evening on. On what? I've run out of words. See, this is what happens when you talk constantly for hours. Your brain just goes blah 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 blah.